Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of On the Ice. I'm your host, Andrew Greenall. Today we're joined by Ryan Thompson. He is the owner of RELM Sports. Ryan is based at Kingston, Ontario, and we're so happy to have you on today, Ryan. Good day to you, sir. How are you?
Andrew, I'm well. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to have you on. Ryan, RELM Sports has been around for quite some time, and let's tell our viewers, you guys are based out of Kingston, Ontario. You obviously have a large following from what you guys do, but let's start with the basics. How long have you guys been in business, and what programs do you offer our Eastern friends out there?
Yeah, awesome. So we started in 2009. We've had a couple different tournament names over those years. 2018, we rebranded to RELM Sports to have a sport neutral opportunity to expand on some of the exciting options we have available for us in Eastern Ontario. So with our brand, we run a series of different tournaments: adult hockey, youth hockey for boys and girls. We have offers for each age group, from our youngest of our IP age group all the way up through our adult divisions. We also have a really fun ringette tournament we run in the spring, usually May long weekend, where we attract teams from coast to coast in Canada. Working on those elusive European teams to be able to come over in the spring as well. And then we have, within each of our hockey tournaments, we have a spring hockey team program where we have players from across North America and often into Europe, occasionally into the Asian hockey side of things as well, where players are able to register as individuals, and we bring in experienced non-parent hockey coaches to lead the charge for those teams in our weekend tournaments in Kingston. And then we complement those ideas and tournaments and teams with our series of different full day camps in our summertime, and then our specialty camps throughout the spring and summer to get ready for tryouts and junior camps. And then we've added in this year a series of in-season development, and we've been fortunate. We work with 4 or 5 different minor hockey associations across Eastern Ontario, helping them with their development and complementing the coaches, and really kind of bring a different voice and a different level of skill set to help the kids learn a little bit more about the game. And this year's obviously been hard, not being able to apply any of these new skills into a game setting, but looking forward to hopefully some extra steps that some of these players may have gained this season into the spring and into next year.
So RELM Sports started out as just a tournament company?
That's right. Yes, we started. Yeah, exactly. So we started with a series of different tournaments from scratch in Kingston. Kingston's a great spot for it. We're as far east as you'll go for the Western teams in Ontario, and as far west as you go for a lot of the Eastern teams. So we've really enjoyed the location where everybody travels a little bit to get here. But you get to play against teams you don't see all the time. We have a group of teams that really love coming here, regardless of if it's a spring team or if it's one of our academy or high school tournaments. You get to play against teams that you won't see in your regular season usually. We're 45 minutes from Watertown in the U.S. We're an hour and a half from Ottawa. We're 2 or 3 hours from Montreal. We're 2 or 3 hours from Toronto. So really, to be able to have all those teams compete and play against each other is always exciting. A lot of times our finals and our tournaments will result in 2 teams from locations they've never seen before or competed. We had a tournament last February, our last one before everything got shut down, and the finals was a team from Edmonton competing against a team from Montreal for a U15 AAA final. So it was exciting to watch, and again, these teams are able to participate against groups that they don't usually see, right? So
so let's talk about these. Let's talk about these tournaments. Like, just looking here, looking at the adult tournaments, the prospect camp for juniors, ringette. Up until just recently, I didn't realize I interviewed a ringette family on our Primetime Alberta Sports Show, and ringette is actually bigger than I was led to believe. So let's talk about that for a minute. How many teams do you get for ringette out here?
So ringette's a blast. Ringette is, I've really enjoyed being able to be part of that ringette family this year. This year, I finally was able to get my referee certification. Not that I've been able to use it yet, but it's such a blast of a sport. It's very family oriented. The sport of ringette continues to grow every year, and the excitement around it is absolutely awesome. I've grown up playing hockey. I played in the OHL. I played a little bit of semi-pro, played university, refereed a lot. You don't see ringette in a lot of the rinks. And watching these girls and now some of the young boys, the way they skate and the way they compete is absolutely incredible. It's such a fast game to watch, and it's just a blast. So we've been really fortunate. We've been able to, as I said earlier, we attract teams from across the country, coast to coast. So actually, last May for 2020, we actually had over 90 ringette teams that were intending to be able to participate. We don't have the capacity for that many teams, so we were diligently working hard on figuring out how to expand, how to add more rinks at that time of year, how to be able to add more accommodations, and be able to work very closely with our groups in Kingston to be able to help support that. Worst thing is having to turn away some of these teams for the experience they're hoping to gather, right? So we continue to work with our referees and continue to work with our coaches and be able to add stuff, especially now, add some different models and different ideas on how to make that continued successfully for the experience of the girls and boys and families, right?
So did you guys always start out with this many hockey tournaments, or was it just hockey, then you slowly moved into juniors, adults, ringette? Like, obviously being the founding of your business, where did you start, with the young kids or the adults? Was there a need for it back then, or when you started?
Yeah, great question. So we started kind of a mesh of a few different ideas until things started to catch on. Our adult ringette and our ladies divisions were all kind of spread over one weekend at first, until we were able to start kind of getting our feet under us, right? We worked really closely with a lot of the participants that came into town. And then as things started to grow is where we either split off tournaments, like our Ontario Prospects Junior Showcase, first weekend of May. We ended up splitting that tournament off of our boys hockey tournament. So we now have our body checking age group is typically on our Ontario Prospects Junior Showcase. And then our non-body checking divisions are in our boys AAA challenge in beginning of June. So there's ways it's grown strategically, but really continue to work really closely with a lot of our participants to ensure we can continue to offer things that they're going to be interested in, right? It's one thing to say we've got a new tournament, it's going to be super cool, and nobody shows up. So we really worked really closely with a lot of the groups, even within Kingston, right? If we have some downtimes, Kingston's a small city, so often we can't run a bunch of different things at the same time. So if there's a lull, we added a new tournament in February for our independent academies last year. It was an open tournament last February, and we had a lot of space in the city, so we were able to negotiate great hotel rates. We were able to offer a couple different pieces as well. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate, but we had intended to have some outdoor games built into that tournament as well with our
No way.
So in Kingston, we have a Feb Fest every February. We've got a beautiful rink in Market Square downtown. It has boards and everything else up. So we had intended, but the weather just didn't cooperate for us. And then we have an outdoor rink on Wolf Island as well, which is a fun ferry ride across a little bay in Kingston, and you get to play in an outdoor rink in Wolf Island. So those are things we're continue to add to that February weekend into our 2021-22 season as we come into to next season here. And all these little pieces, I mean, you get to kind of enjoy the city and enjoy the experience. When you come to the town, you're at the rink for maybe 12 hours over the course of your tournament weekend. What are you going to do for the other 70, 80 hours, right? So we always try to work out some of those different pieces we can do within the city, and whether it's restaurants or experiences or attractions, and try to build those in as well, right? And if it's a ferry ride to Wolf Island to play an outdoor game, then so be it, right? So
is that for the kids as well, or just the adult tournaments at the ferry?
So that's we can do that in season. So that's it was for our youth tournament we did in last February. We were trying to incorporate, like I said, just the weather unfortunately sometimes doesn't cooperate with us in the lakeside town we have, but all those different features are something we continue to try to innovate and offer that something different, right?
I bet those kids would look forward to that ferry ride. You know, I know I'm a little bit older, but man, I love going on those ferries. It's so much fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're looking over the campus of Royal Military College in downtown Kingston as you're coming back into town. It's special, right? It's great.
Yeah. So we started with tournaments. When we come back from the commercial break, let's talk about your spring programs and go from there and let our viewers know what you guys offer out in the East. We'll be right back here shortly, everyone, with Ryan Thompson of RELM Sports. And we're back with Ryan Thompson with RELM Sports on the ice. Thanks so much for joining us again, Ryan. We really appreciate this. Being out in the East, obviously it's 11 o'clock out there, and it's really early for me out here in the West. So I really appreciate you waking me up early. So we just hit on tournaments. RELM Sports' background is tournaments, and then you guys have evolved into some sports camps. Let's talk to our viewers about the sports camps. Just looking here on your website, since 2013, you guys have been running different styles of sports camps. Do you want to talk to our viewers about what you guys offer and what it entails, what they get for it, and and essentially, maybe who the instructor could be just tell us what it is.
Absolutely. So we have we've steadily grown our camps. We started with a summer camp, full day summer camp. We tried to replicate what I participated in when I was a kid. We had the full day camp. We had some great coaches, and then I was fortunate as I got older. I was invited to come back and be a counselor, and we did that for a few summers in between my seasons. And we did that in Fort Erie, where I grew up. So to offer something out here, there wasn't anything being offered for that full day summer camp. So I was excited. I was humbled the first year we ran it. It was really hard. It was really hard. We were fortunate. We had 32 kids out, and we had a blast. We had such a great time, but I was so exhausted by the end of the week. So we've continued to look at ways to expand that and continue to offer. We had great feedback. This current summer, we actually have 7 full weeks booked into the calendar for full day summer camps. For boys and girls, usually range from anywhere from 6 to 12 years old. With a few more weeks this year, we're going to add a couple different specialty components to that for some of our older ages. Then, as things kind of started to create some great interest, we started adding like PA day camps and school day camps. Last year we had some days off of school due to some of the different teacher negotiations, and we got the kids on the ice. It was great. We worked closely with the city in Kingston, and be able to offer like a PA day camp or a school day camp is a little bit different than, especially in the winter, where we're able to get outside and play some different activities outdoors, as well as have some hockey and kind of break up that season a little bit, right? So we added that last year. This year, I've halfway through my Hockey Canada Skills Specialist certification, so I've been the big driver of our in-season skills development for our boys and girls. That we've partnered with some different minor hockey associations in our area. And really, it's to be able to complement what the coaches have. We've done some specialty stuff where we did 7 weeks of defense specific skills training for boys and girls as defensemen only. We included on ice. We included some video sessions at the arena. We included a personal Zoom call with good friends of mine who are coaching in the American Hockey League to talk about defense and how to be a better defenseman. And a lot of times these coaches just, not that they don't have the capabilities, but they don't have the time, right? You're on the ice for maybe 2 hours a week for practice, and you have a full team to worry about and concern yourself with. How do you get those extra pieces? So to be able to complement what some of these coaches are offering has been something we've tried to take that approach. Any of our skills and camp stuff on ice or off ice is geared to make you a better hockey player. A lot of our stuff is specific to becoming a better hockey player. We're not going to it's example based, it's scenario based. Sometimes the toys we have on the ice, if you want to use them as training aids or toys, whatever you want to describe them as, often we try to put them into game-like scenarios. So we may not have a full bore of different toys or accessories on the ice or training aids on the ice, but really trying to make I mean, anybody can skate around a pylon. How do you skate around a pylon with a 200-pound person chasing you and trying to make sure that you don't have the puck, right? So we want to be able to always include those different ideas on how to make you a better player, and make these skills transferable. And that's been something we've really enjoyed and had fun doing. But get involved, and when we're on the ice, we're as sweaty as the kids are by the end of practice, and have a blast doing it, and be able to continue to share our experience and evolution of the game too, right? I mean, the game has changed so much since we were kids, and to be able to share some of those new pieces and new ideas and new efficiencies on the ice to be able to be effective, right?
Yeah. Just we're just showing some of our viewers the camps that you guys have, Ryan. I'm sure you can see that on your end.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really good to see that you guys are able to offer this style of opportunity for the players out in the East. Is this as well into the ringette players you spoke about earlier?
We hope to be able to actually in September, October, we were fortunate. We were able to partner with World Elite Training out of Belleville. They have a 3-on-3 facility with a beautiful off-ice facility that they've opened up and rebranded over the last year or so as well. We ran a series of skills showcase events for different ages and boys and girls, and it incorporated, at that point we were approved to have folks from various public health units in Ontario that were in the same color as Hastings Prince Edward. So we were fortunate, we were able to attract a few extra players and join us on that. We tried to run a ringette event as well, very similar, where we'd have on ice, off ice. We were going to bring in some skills coaches on the ringette side to help us with that, and really kind of enhance that controlled scrimmage to show these skills you learn. And when there's a scenario, blow it down, stop it, and go through the thinking and help the players with those decision making pieces. Because really, if you look at the beauty of 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, these small area games, and we can slow it down and show that you don't have a lot of time and space, but here's the decision you can make, and it's at it was such a fun idea and went really, really well on the hockey side. We just, unfortunately, this year with COVID, we weren't able to do it with ringette, just with some of the different areas that they had for restrictions compared to what hockey had. So something we're going to hopefully try to do again next kind of August and September, and just before the season starts, or even in season, so that we can have a lot of that applicability, right? Anybody can do a great practice, anybody can do a great skill series, but how do you put them into play? And the format we actually did was the kids played in a few different controlled scrimmages where it was 3-on-3, 4-on-4, and then we had one where it was a special teams controlled scrimmage. So one your 45-minute ice time, you had 20 minutes on the penalty kill and 20 minutes on the power play, and slowed things down and stopped it to be able to show the kids how to make some of those decisions on creating more time and space, or how to take time and space away. And I'd love to be able to share that into the ringette side as well. I think their skating capabilities would be really exciting to watch, right? Benefiting who's actually got the best skills and who's actually been going to the best skills coach over the last year with our COVID skills series, right? So it's something I'm looking forward to experiencing and hopefully be able to use that for the ringette side as well.
Ryan, just so our viewers know, I think you were too bashful when you said the years of experience you have. I just found this on your website as you were speaking there. Look at this background you have there, big guy. That's pretty good.
I've been very fortunate. Hockey's been something that's opened a lot of doors. It's amazing the people you meet within a silly sport that we all love, right? It's the people you meet, the opportunity, and especially in different areas. So I was fortunate as a player, played on a great program in Guelph. We hosted the Memorial Cup in my second year. What an amazing experience. The players you play with, there's still players that I had played with in Guelph that are still playing in the NHL. Guys that have lifted the Stanley Cup, guys that have invited me to attend their Stanley Cup party. It's absolutely amazing, the experience, right? And then as a coach, I've been fortunate just based on where I've been. The timing's always been on my side for coaching, and as much as I'd love to be behind the bench with RMC still or other programs, it's hard. I've got two young girls at home that I want to be at home with right now, right? So being part of the U18 program.
You won't be saying that in a few years, right?
Now, right? Exactly. Take advantage while they still like me, right? But no, it's been a blast. I've been very fortunate. Actually, one of the experiences I never thought I would do is I was a linesman in the Ontario Hockey Federation for a couple of seasons, and had the opportunity. My first season opened up the RMC home opener game as a linesman, and was totally out of my element. I knew how to skate, knew how to read the play, Wasn't quite sure when I was supposed to blow my whistle yet. So it was all these different things. It was exciting. It was fun. Had great help and great mentors to be able to help me through that, and ended up that season lined one of the provincial finals for Junior C in our area when Picton was playing in the Schmalz Cup final. So it was just a totally different look at the game, and to be a linesman, it was fun. I was able to kind of still be in the mix a little bit. If you ever look at my stats, you'll know what I mean by that. It's fun to be picking up those scrums and then doing a lot of the university games. I was really excited. We did the Carr Harris Cup, which is a huge rivalry between Queens and RMC. I believe it's one of the longest rivalries in hockey history. And then I was able to do the West Point and RMC game, which is one of the longest international rivalries as well. You got West Point Military Academy up in Kingston competing against the RMC varsity game. It's a team. It's a heck of a game. The experience is awesome. We've got bands in the stands for both teams, and you got the cadets there, and it's a riot. They play it at the Leon Center downtown Kingston, where the Frontenacs play, and so it was neat just to see kind of the whole rounded experience of being able to be a player, then a coach, then a referee for a little while. And really, the administration keeps me in the game and be able to hopefully expand those experiences to others as well. And regardless of the age, it's always something we always love to be part of, right? So it's hard to just hang them up, so to speak, whether it's a computer screen or whether it's my skates. I've been really fortunate and gotten a lot of great experiences out of the game.
Mm-hmm. Hang on to those thoughts, Ryan. We got to take a quick commercial break because me and you can't afford these commercial breaks, so someone's got to do it for us. We'll be right back, guys, with On the Ice with Ryan Thompson of RELM Sports. You guys caught me drinking out of my SodaStream bottle here. Got some. Have you tried these SodaStreams, Ryan?
I have not, and I don't know why I haven't. There's no real reason.
I heard this one's grape. Like you just put the water in, then you drop the grape things in there. It's I like it. It's really good. SodaStream does not sponsor the show, but if they'd like to, please give us a call.
There we go.
I'd be happy to continue doing this. Ryan, I was just in the commercial break there. I was just looking at the prospect coaches. Could you speak to this? Like I just found this on your website here. What's this all about? What do you guys do here?
So it's an area that we're continually working to expand. We've always offered a individual registration for each of our divisions at each of our youth hockey tournament, whether it's boys or girls, and we've always had our team compete, and sometimes they do well and sometimes they don't, but at the end of the day, the experience has always been really great, where these kids may not know other participants, and Friday is usually super quiet in the change room, and as they get to know each other, they've developed these lifelong friendships that have been really exciting to watch. And now being able to expand some of our tournaments, we're able to filter some of these caliber players into the right spot. And the ringleader that we've put together for these programs is experienced hockey guys and girls that come in for the weekend, and they coach the team in a short-term competition mentality. So they get to know them on Thursday night. Friday morning is their first game, and then by Sunday, they're looking forward to seeing each other again next spring. The coaches we've been fortunate to have on the boys' side, a lot of guys that I've played with or played against, and they're available come springtime. So I've enjoyed it. It's been a great way to reconnect with the guys over the years. We have guys like Richard Lim, who's the head coach of the Royal Military College varsity team. We have guys like Chris Newbury, who's just retired from playing 14 years of pro hockey. We have guys that have Dave Mullins, who's been one of our one of my assistant coaches while I've been coaching, but he's been one of my lead coaches for a lot of our camps and teams, and he's come back every year to help coach and lead these guys through and girls through a great experience. And The experience we typically look for is they've played. Dave Mullins as one of our head lead coaches. He has 6 red hats as an OMHA champion as a coach. Played college, played junior when he was younger, and all these experience these guys are able to bring in. We've had guys like Colin Burkus, who's coaching the BCHL, come in and coach, and during the weekend gets to know the players well enough that starts making calls on their behalf to be able to open some doors up for them for next season. So all these little opportunities. On the girls' side, we've been very fortunate. I've tried to take the approach where our girls' team are coached by girls. We have girls like CJ Tipping, who's graduated from Liberty University. She's in Wisconsin now. She has coached with me for 6 years now, or 6 seasons now. She's one of the drivers of our girls program to expand what those teams offer. So she's actually brought an 04 team the last couple of seasons to a couple extra tournaments instead of just participating in the tournament in Kingston. They've gone and competed in the Queen of the Rings. They won the Queen of the Rings 04 division last year, or 2 years ago, I guess it'd be already now. They didn't get to defend their title last year with so they're I guess they're defending champs now coming into third summer. So. And then we've had girls that participate in the national program. We've had Katya Hedra. We've had a lot of different girls that have participated as coaches to come in and be an example, be a role model. And we're so fortunate these girls take time out of their weekends and their schedules and their training to be able to come and lead these girls. We had Katya Hedra, who last year she'd been coaching with us, I think, for about 8 years, and they finally won the gold medal. So the excitement for her was just as exciting for the kids, right? So it's something we always brag about and share, that they're non-parent coaches, but they are incredibly experienced in the games. A lot of time they're still in the game, and they're here to put their time into the girls that have opted to come to Kingston and participate in a weekend and get to know them and share their contact info and always be a resource for them. It's absolutely something that we've taken great pride in, and that's something we want to continue to expand. On our boys program, we've looked at trying to expand that a little bit as well, so that the spring teams aren't just participating in the tournaments in Kingston. They're now going to travel a little bit. We had set up last year. We were supposed to go to Slovenia for the CCM Super Challenge or World Challenge in Slovenia in July. We had registered for a tournament in Pittsburgh to participate as well, and then a tournament in Toronto. So our 07s had a few different tournaments. Our 2012s and 13s we're supposed to go to Montreal and then participate in a couple of Kingston tournaments. So these programs are now being kind of expanded a little bit, and that's something we've wanted to continue to offer. And it's based on requests, and it's based on feedback, right? The parents have really enjoyed the experience and want more, and to be able to go experience some of these tournaments and do the hotel thing and get the full spring hockey experience is something we're continuing to grow and enjoy it, right? It's such a fun experience getting to know these kids and seeing them year over year. We started really involved in that program. Myself personally, when the 06s would have been just starting out. So we're coming into about 10 years now almost, where these players are now coming into their own and reach out and ask questions about what they should start thinking about and doing, and ask for some advice. And that's I find that such a compliment. It went from seeing these young kids at the grocery store after hockey camp, and then they kind of giggle and get shy, to they reach out and it's their own cell phone number. They're asking for a reference, right? It's absolutely something we've taken great pride in, and the compliment that offers is kind of helps show that you're doing the right things and for the right reasons when you get these kids the opportunity to get more out of the game than just the game, right? It's a blast. We've had such a fun time doing it.
Just looking at your website, there was something that caught my eye, and I was hoping that we could speak about it briefly. I'm just trying to find it again here to bring it back up. Here it is. We've talked about the kids, but I want to talk about us old farts here. This is awesome. Like
this one's always been fun. So this our adult tournament continues to gather steam. As I said earlier, Kingston's in a really cool spot. We are as far east as you usually go if you're in the west of Ontario, and we're as far west as you go if you're in the east of Ontario. But on top of that, the access to the US has been something that's really helped make our adult tournament so attractive. We had 75 adult teams registered last spring, from Barrie to Niagara Falls to Trois-Rivières down to Florida. We had teams from Pittsburgh. We had teams from New Jersey, both boys and girls, men and women. And and all coming to Kingston to be able to participate. Yes, hockey brings us together, but Kingston's such a cool city. So we've been fortunate. We had the Grizzly Grill and a couple of the pubs downtown have started to become sponsors and involved in our adult events. So little things like you get skip the line bracelets, or you get if your team shows up with 10 to 12 guys, you get 15% off your food. It's these little things that get them downtown. And the number of requests I get on how I build an adult team schedule so that I don't interrupt the opportunity to go celebrate and enjoy the experience with each other is sometimes hard. So I'm always negotiating. Do you want Friday or Saturday morning or evening? And the little things too, like we've connected with some of our transportation groups in Kingston so that it's easy to be able to rent a van with a driver for the weekend, or so that if you do have to travel to a rink or from the hotel, it's easy and nobody's having to risk anything. And we're fortunate Kingston doesn't really have bars within the arena, but there's so many different restaurants and so many different pubs, and we have a few new craft breweries in town that we're hoping to be able to set up some tastings and some education on the beer as well, right? But it's such a fun weekend, a mix of Kingston teams, a mix of teams from across the area as well, and continues to be. When you get that little level of participation from teams, it makes it easier to make your divisions because you've got a larger group of teams that you now know are comparable to each other. So the experience at the end of the day, you've got a group of teams that are very comparable skill-wise. And at the end of the day, everybody's way more excited about having a good game rather than a blowout one way or the other, right? It's been a lot of fun.
Ryan, I'm just surfing your website here. Where, if I'm so obviously, if I'm a male team in the adult classic, to register,
you won't see our registration yet. We are working on a registration, and we're supposed to find out tomorrow if we get a green light to be able to hopefully get through some of these COVID challenges. So we've been all of our registrations in draft form on the back end of our site right now. We do have we've been fortunate. We work pretty closely with the city of Kingston, obviously on a normal year, but even more so this year in our public health unit. And we have our spring dates, kind of save the date mentality, but we also have some July and August dates penciled into the calendar should we need to postpone or reschedule, or if things go really well, then we get to add new tournaments into July and August as well. So appreciate the plug, Andrew, on register. And unfortunately, we just won't be able to.
Ryan, hang on one sec. When we come back, let's talk more about that and a few other cool things. We'll be right back, everyone, with Ryan Thompson with RELM Sports. Welcome back to On the Ice. We're sitting down with Ryan Thompson of RELM Sports. Ryan, I didn't mean to put you on the spot before we went to the commercial break.
No problem.
About the registration. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is obviously if individuals are interested in registering for any of your tournaments or any of your programs, they should definitely visit your website. I'm just going to pop that out. Just give me 1 sec. Let me put a few things here out of my browser and get back to your homepage so everyone can see that. I'm assuming once you guys get the go-ahead, somewhere here on your screen, viewers, they should be able to click on a registration button of some kind to register for your skills camps, your one-on-ones, your tournaments. Is that true, Ryan?
You got it. Absolutely. Everything will be easy registration on our websites. We do easy registration, easy payment. We sort out hooking up with hotels as needed as well. So all of our tournaments are full service, down to hotel support, registrations all on our sites. And then on site during the tournament, we have everything organized and managed as well, down to our own referees. We have game pucks that have our logos on it. We have our referees with logos on it, on their jerseys, staff that's based on where we are. We're very fortunate. We have tournament staff that's bilingual, both French and English. Our two girls that run the office at tournaments are awesome and often kick me out. I'm not allowed in there because I'll wreck things. And Trish in the end, they're there to help and make sure teams are ready to go and know what's going on and know the lay of the land in the rink in the city and help answer questions on how and what to do and how to get the best out of the tournament. And it's just another level of something I'm very fortunate as the owner of RELM Sports to have the competence that those two girls offer in the office. And it's fantastic. Like I said, I don't have to be in there I can go to make things happen. I can go and talk to teams and watch games and help any of the bumps and bruises that happen throughout the game. We're fortunate as well. We always bring in a medic and a first aider at the tournament to be able to help if there's anything that happens. They're on site to be able to help with that and help manage the recovery and the diagnosis and all that fun stuff. But it's been great. I'm able to at every tournament open to close and be able to go talk to people and solicit feedback and share some ways of why we've done certain things, and often providing a little bit of context and touch point and accessibility to the person who's made the decisions for the tournament to go as planned, and share some of that insight with the parents and families, and congratulate the participants on a great shift or a great game or a great play, and continue to look at ways to be able to enhance those ideas and use those feedback throughout each weekend and in each tournament.
Now, what about your skills camp? Could you maybe explain to our viewers? I'm assuming same way to register for that on your website. Again, it would come up. What's all entailed in that?
Yeah, so absolutely same thing. So any of our camps, any of our teams, any of our tournaments, all of our registration's easy and accessible online. For most of our camps, I'm typically on the ice for a lot of our camps. Our summer camp, not as much. I get to be the off ice guy for our summer camps and have some great coaches out there for those. We usually offer a skills clinic prior to each youth hockey tournament that we'll have our prospect team coaches come out and run those practices for the teams, kind of bang the rust off a little bit. Some players have been on the ice leading into our spring tournaments, others haven't, so it gives at least an hour out on the ice to bang the rust off and meet some other folks that are participating. And it's open to all players, so it's not just our prospect players that are there, and we get our coaches on the ice as well, and gives them a chance to kind of show what they're best at, right? I mean, you get some of these great coaches, and great to be able to have a clipboard and some dialogue behind the bench during a game and a weekend, but to be able to be on the ice with the kids is something they shine at as well. So once the online registration's open, it'll be very obvious and up to date, and we'll send that typically out to our email list that we've generated over the years, and post on our social media as well, right? So that folks are able to see that and share that and get registered as soon as they can. We've been fortunate; a lot of our programs this year have sold out really quickly. Some of our local minor hockey associations have been unable to continue the rest of their season, so we've been fortunate and picked up where they left off and be able to offer those programs for these kids. And so starting mid-February, should we be allowed, we'll be running some skills development in Napanee, about half an hour from Kingston, for ages of eyepiece or 2016 birth year up to our midget and junior players. Starting mid-February to end of April, and incredibly we sold out our 320 spots available in about 4 days.
Wow.
So yes, we're fortunate and encourage folks to reach out if there's curiosities on registering for our teams or camps or tournaments, and we always do our very best to be able to find a spot for the players, and especially our young boys and girls that are interested in still participating, right? So always great up for conversation on that, or be able to offer these programs and expand and offer new ones too if we've missed the mark or have interest on other programs, right? So something we've been working towards for quite some time, and that experience is starting to pay off with all the feedback we've generated from our participants on what we can offer, right?
Awesome. One more quick commercial break here, Ryan. When we come back on the ice, we're going to ask Ryan some of the tough questions that we haven't grilled him with yet. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On the Ice. I'm your host, Andrew Grinnell. We're sitting down with Ryan Thompson of RELM Sports. And Ryan, I told you when we came back, we're going to ask you some of the tough questions. Ryan, have you ever fallen on the ice during one of your skills camps?
I was running a Thursday night 10 p.m. skate for one of our minor hockey associations in Kingston for the fall. And based on numbers, we were fortunate we were able to keep it small. That time of night too wasn't something we were concerned about. So I was running the sessions as a solo coach for our 12 players. Went to step on the ice a couple minutes prior to. I had training aids in my hand. I had practice plan in my hand. I had markers all over my pockets, and I forgot to take my skate guards off. And had no idea what happened when I had yard sailed with 10 markers and 15 pages of paper and training aids and pylons absolutely everywhere, yard sailed around the whole zone that I'd fell in. Had no idea what happened until laying on my back, looked at my feet and saw these bright red skate guards. So yes, other than a paper cut on my finger and a huge bruised ego, I was A-okay, but great way to introduce why we're going to work on edges for that practice.
Nice. What was one of your fondest memories of playing with some of these ex-NHLers? And if you want to name them, feel free.
Yeah, I was fortunate. Guelph was a great town, very similar to Kingston actually, but brand new rink. Went my first season. We moved into what's now the Sleeman Center. The whole experience was awesome. Playing with the different guys, both playing against and playing with. I mean, our team was quite stellar. Dan Pye, Dustin Brown, Craig Anderson, Dan Girardi, Ryan Callahan, Kevin Dahlman, Feder Tooten. Like we were blessed with such a great group of guys, and so happy to have been part of a little bit of their journey as they continue to excel in their hockey quest, right? And to be able to now follow them has been something that's really cool. I don't have I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, but I don't really have a favorite team just because of the number of guys that you had the opportunity to play with and against, and now celebrate their success and, like I said, be part of a little part of that. My funnest experience we had was just we were in Guelph. We had such a tight knit group. We had 8 rookies that all started the same year, and we all finished our three-year career in Guelph. So you really get to know those guys inside and out, and the experience we had both on and off the ice was outstanding. We had great coaching staff, great facilities, and the OHL at that point still had a lot of the old rinks. So we got to transition from old rinks to new rinks and kind of experience the old school as well as the new school of hockey and the facilities and the amenities that are offered. And we had such a great time and really cherish the whole experience. At the level in the OHL with the NHL guys and the guys that came back even as alumni. We hosted Memorial Cup. We had Big Bert came in, Todd Bertuzzi came in and made sure we all knew that guys like him were cheering for us, and to see the career of some of these players and them coming back to watch us. Like you get Manny Malhotra and Todd Bertuzzi in the room congratulating us on a win after the Memorial Cup it's incredible, right? And to be part of that Guelph Storm family as a whole is something we don't take lightly, and really enjoy being part of the whole group.
One of your fondest memories of one of the young guys or girls that have been through your program?
A couple great examples. We've had some that have simply come back every year and into our camps. We have a young lad in Kingston. He started our first summer camp with us, 2006 birth year. We did player interviews that year, and they've been harder to do with more players now. But cutest little guy. He was 5 at the time, and he's since come back and he's one of our counselors for the last couple of seasons. So he's been every year. He's with the exception of myself, he's the longest standing camp participant. And now as a counselor, like I said, something that's really exciting for me, have a bit of a wingman, so to speak, as one of the kids who was a counselor and now or a camper and now into a counselor. On the players side, we've had such cool a lot of different cool experiences on the player side. A few years ago, we had a 2002, 2003 team from Moscow come in and participate. So we did a home opening game against one of the local Kingston teams. We had the town crier come out, who had just gotten back from a international competition where he finished, I think, 2nd of the town criers in the world, and introduced the team and did a ceremonial puck drop. And seeing these guys now get drafted high in the OHL, get high in the NHL, and knowing that a little bit of their experience in the game came from something that we were able to organize. Seeing some of these guys now that are moving on to participate in universities, and there's so many different examples, right? You get these guys and girls that have been through Kingston, and like I said, we had a little opportunity to be part of their experience and see what they're doing now, and still involved in the game, whether it's as a player or a coach or whatever. And now coming in and you get to watch them on TV, or you get to see some of these girls who are now on some of these pro teams that are standing up, and it's exciting. They've gone through university and played, and knowing that you've seen them when they were younger, and knowing that you've seen them participate in your program has been something we've really enjoyed.
Ryan, thanks so much for joining us today. Ryan Thompson, the owner of RELM Sports. If any of you are interested in their programs or finding out more information, feel free to hit them up. It's RELMSports.com. From there, you'll be able to check out some more of their camp information, some information about how they run their programs, etc. And I think the best part, the present part, because he's kind of bashful, but there's more to the story than just what he's told us today. Ryan, thanks again so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I hope we've been able to get some more of the word out about RELM Sports. And yeah, it's been awesome. Thanks so much. And I'm going back to that now.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No worries, buddy. Everyone, Ryan Thompson with RELM Sports. Again, thanks for watching On the Ice. We'll be back next week with another show. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.